What do Earth Day and Vladimir Lenin's birthday have in common? They both reoccur every year on April 22nd. Coincidence? The first Earth Day took place April 22nd, 1970. The centennial of Lenin's birth took place April 22nd, 1970. Needless to say, the Lenin Centenary was a huge deal to the communist movement, which goes bonkers over dates and memorials to its icons. Here are more striking similarities. Vladimir Lenin and the communist and environmental movements all remonstrated against capitalism, profits, corporations, industry, free markets, the West. When the communist movement imploded in the late 1980s, many of its disciples just happened to join, you guessed it, the environmental movement. Let's back up and start from the beginning. Vladimir Lenin, a hateful man, was born April 22, 1870, precisely 100 years before the first Earth Day. The number 100 is auspicious for the communist movement. It reflects the number of human beings exterminated by the Marxist-Leninist ideology over the last 100 years. According to the seminal Harvard University Press work, The Black Book of Communism, communist governments killed over 100 million in the last century. This, incidentally, is a conservative figure. The total number of dead is probably closer to 140 million, more than double the combined deaths of World War I and II. Our more knowledgeable friends on the left will cry foul at my crass connection between Lenin Day and Earth Day. They might note that Lenin was not an environmentalist. True, Lenin was a collectivist. He was also an angry atheist who detested human beings, mowing them down, filling landfills with them. He did, however, share the penchant for central planning championed by environmentalists. And like environmentalists, more people were a problem for Lenin and his minions. Both environmentalists and Leninists view people as a drain on resources. For environmentalists, too, many people consume too much of the Earth's alleged limited resources. For Leninists, too many people consume too much of the state's limited resources. Both see mass collectivism and redistributionism, not to mention government control and seizure of property, as solutions to perceived global problems. Communists specialized in agitation and propaganda. They had a campaign for everything. They excelled at suckering impressionable, liberal, progressive dupes, especially youth, whom they targeted at World Youth Festivals and via other deceptive activities. At this point, April 1970, they were having wild success with college students. Over the past few centuries, and especially in the mid-20th century, those elements of socialistic societies which remained came to realize their days were numbered unless they could contrive a different way of bringing humanity under their spell, their control, if you will. They fell back on that thing which has always worked, at least temporarily in the past, and that is ignorance and fear. Ignorance of the truth and fear of an imagined threat. To be successful, the environmentalist movement, formerly the Marxist movement, had to convince their fellow man that their home, Earth, was being destroyed. To rouse the anger in the now frightened human beings, they were told, over and over, that it was other humans who were destroying their home. Worship of the Earth and a goddess Earth Mother is a religion as old as the Earth itself, but new to the arrogant, undereducated masses of the planet today. And it has been used by the socialist movement to brainwash whole generations around the world. Forsaking the worship of the Creator and embracing the worship of the created, thinking they were wise, they had become fools. The latest denomination in the Church of Paganism is the global warming movement or climate change movement. It is preaching the gospel of sustainability, or so they say. I look on and wonder as my fellow men are sucked into this worldwide hoax. I marvel at the combination of arrogance and ignorance, which leads one to rely on a false doctrine such as that of the global warming climate change movement.